The main thing really I want to talk about today, I think a few people have mentioned it recently in the press and stuff like that, but it's something I thought about a while ago. Is it's not having a dig at anyone. It's just a discussion really. I've got wrote down. It's what is better, having good team spirit and organisation, or having a lot of money to build a squad. I think there's a few teams. The obvious one is Leicester City with the team spirit and the organisation and the work rate, versus someone like Man City with such a massive budget they can go and buy near enough anyone in the world. I've got here that Leicester City's squad on Saturday, I think, or their last game was 22 million. Man City's, 10 times that's 225 million, something like that. So, the comparisons are massive. But you watched them when they played them 2 weeks ago. They were almost worlds apart. The sides, how good Leicester were, and it just sparked a thing. What would I rather? I think the most thing that impresses me the most is you've got to praise, obviously, the recruitment process and the management as well, because Nigel Pearson done a great job with them, keeping them up and getting them to a level of just survival really, whereas Ranieri's had them organised with near enough the same players. Only you only had probably 2, maybe 3 players to that mix, and they've gone on to the heights this season that no one would have ever thought. And I really think it's definitely refreshing to see. Is it worth finding a player? I mean, Jamie Vardy's a great example, but Kante that's signed, Mahrez only 400,000. Finding them players, maybe having a season to work with them. They're not as high a budget, but having a season to work with them, getting them in your thoughts as a manager, giving the manager maybe a little bit more time, and then unleashing that squad. When you see, I know Ranieri's only signed in summer, he only had a pre-season, but you can see what that little bit of care and organisation and hard work, where that can get you. So if you think what are the managers doing with these big budget, big money signings? If you can get that out of players that aren't necessarily seem to be as technically gifted, then you've got to praise the manager a lot there. My personal experience, I've never been at a club where they've just thrown money at it and gone, let's go and win it by just throwing money at it. I've never had the luxury of being at a club of that size and that budget. So I can only speak on personal experience. And for me, it's been generally at a club that's not necessarily struggling for relegation and always in a relegation fight, but mid-table really. But coming to Cheltenham this year, I think there was definitely an expectation level. And I knew coming to the club that, finishing 10th, 11th, I knew that wasn't good enough. I think all the players coming to the club knew that wasn't good enough. So there was definitely an expectation. But in saying that, I don't think you look at all the odds at the start of the season. We weren't favourites to go up. You look at the teams with the bigger budget, like Forest Green, Tranmere, Wrexham to a degree. They were the teams fancied, and everyone wanted them, thinking they're the ones that are going to go on and cause an upset. And if I remember looking at the odds at the start of the season, and we were tipped to maybe get playoffs. So, and our budget isn't the biggest in the league. It's definitely not the smallest, but it's not the biggest. I think we're in the top 10. I would have thought. I don't know exactly how much, but like I say, we're in the top 10, so I think we're competitive. But what's separated us, as it goes back to, I think it's team spirit and an organisation and a work rate that the managers bred into us. It's unique what's happened this season so far at Cheltenham, as in there was 11 debutants on the starting game of the season, and there was probably 2 or 3 on the bench that had not played for Cheltenham ever before. So, there was it was a case. I've never been involved in something like that, so we had to sort of get together and rally around. And the manager was just brilliant at making sure he knew what we had to do. He knew what was expected of us, and then obviously it was down to us to go out and do it. And credit to the lads because they've done that so far.